Are we recording right now?
Oh no, wait,
Are we recording yet?
did I press the button? Oh my god, I pressed the button. We're
Oh, well, oh my gosh, it's the podcast. All right, welcome everybody to the 9 to 5 boys yet again.
bring your mic a little closer, man. The people want to hear you.
Oh, how about now? Can the people hear me now? Can they hear me right
Oh,
here?
oh my god,
Can you hear me now?
your midnight mark right now. Oh my god.
that,
Whew. So,
wait, that was the guy from the boat that rocked you're referring to.
that's the one, yeah, the smooth, sexy guy, the one that like everyone wants to bone because
He got hella maidens, dude. He was like hella bussin', dude.
he was like the anime character who has already like a harem, like by episode 1. Like
Yeah, he's just a king, dude, an absolute king. You speaking of kings, dude, let me tell you, I saw that movie, Crazy Stupid Love with Jack last night. It was
ooh.
pretty good, man. It was overall like really good. I didn't really like. We were going into it not thinking much, but it has like a stacked cast. It's got Steve Carell, you got Julianne Moore, you got Ryan Gosling, you got Emma Stone, um, you got Marissa Tomei in there, which is hilarious. She's very comedic and very funny. Um, it was a hilarious movie, man. It actually was like a good story. You got Kevin Bacon in there out of nowhere, which was like hella cool.
Bruh.
Um, it's such a crazy movie. It's great. So like the plot is like Steve Carell, he's married to Julianne Moore, which is already like that's like peak. But
Yeah.
like then like Julianne Moore reveals that she wants a divorce and has been cheating on him with Kevin Bacon's character. Um,
I mean, because it's Kevin Bacon. How can you not?
I mean, yeah, but like also Steve Carell is hella bad too, and he's hella funny. But and he's
True.
hella good at acting, dude. Steve Carell's like, dude. There's actually some moments in here where I was like, damn, it's like it can make you laugh, but it can also like make you tear up. It was a really impressive movie. So then like he meets Ryan Gosling in a bar, and he's like teaching him how to like be a ladies' man and shit.
Bro, man, that's gold. I love that.
Great, man. It's fucking awesome, man.
Ah, speaking
Uh,
speaking of movies, I finally did it, y'all. I finally saw Morbius.
oh yes, tell us about your experience, my dude.
Uh
It's
I
Morbin time, dude. Was it not Morbin time?
it was Morbin time, and honestly, I watched it mainly for the meme, but then like halfway through the movie, I'm like, wow, this movie is like a textbook example on how not to write, direct, edit, and publish a movie, much less a comic book film. Oh my god, there was like
It
it
was
was
fucking
enter-
boring, right? It was fucking boring.
it had some moments of entertainment, but it was like trying to jumpstart someone who's already dead. Like there was no life in the movie. It was like you already got the resuscitation machine. You're just turning up the watts, and you're basically cooking them at this point. Like it's like there's
The
nothing there.
defibrillator, isn't
Yeah,
that what that's called? Oh
yeah,
shit.
defibrillator. Yes.
I mean, like that's it's good you finally watched it. I feel like it's kind of like I had finally watched Elvis this week. Let me tell you. First off, the guy in it, Austin Butler, stole the fucking show. He was fantastic. He was great. He was energetic. He was very. He was emotional at times. It was awesome. He was really good at. He looked almost nothing like Elvis, but he like really played Elvis very well. He got the mannerisms down, which was really tight. The movie's chaotically edited and directed, but it's there are some moments where like when it's slow, it's really a movie you could probably watch while like it would be like a good acid trip because like it just cuts randomly back and forth between things, and it's just like really chaotic. This was Tom Hanks' first movie that I was like I did not fuck with his role at all. I did not like the way he played his character. I did not like really the character at all. It was just poorly. This is one of the rare moments where I can say like Tom Hanks did not really bring it. You know what I mean?
I mean, look, he's killed it in every single role he's ever been in. Like, I can name like a bunch of movies off the top of my head that I will watch back to back: Green Mile, Saving Private Ryan, Forrest Gump, Sleepless in Seattle. You know, I saw that once on TV. It was
Big,
pretty good.
Big is good too, man.
Oh my god, yes, big. Basically Shazam without the powers. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you've got mail.
Oh my god, yeah, yeah. He's earned enough good boy points, like just in
He can take the fall on this one. That's fine. But I mean, it was
yeah.
definitely. I enjoyed the movie for what it was. I overall had a good time. I'd say like this last weekend, I think a better It's not really a biopic. It's more a documentary. It's a really interesting one. It's really fucking cool to watch. It's a David Bowie documentary called Moon Age Daydream,
Yes.
and so it's like old footage of him and old recordings of him, and it's like, um, what is it? Um, and it's just really interesting, and it's all these different other like shots and stuff meshed together as well, um, and do this really chaotic product that also feels coherent. It's interesting, man. It felt very cool. It felt because he talked a lot about life. Apparently, I've never really listened outside of his music to like what he had to say, and so like he talks a lot about life and a lot about purpose and a lot about existence. And it's really interesting to listen to and watch. It was a very good movie, and I think here's the feeling I got from it. I don't know like if there's any film nerds that can like comment below about it, but like it was such a fast paced film and it kind of disorganized, not disorganized, but like it jumped from different points back and forth, but that's kind of like how life feels. It's like it's very fast, it's very confusing, but it's also like wonderful. I mean, like he was like really just living, dude. He was like having a great time, not giving a fuck about what anyone said. There was an interesting interview they played in the movie that he had once where like someone really this British guy in the I think it was the 70s. He like brought into question like his sexuality and stuff because I think like he came out as bisexual. Um, and he was commenting on like his clothes and stuff and his appearance and his presentation. Um, Bowie was very flamboyant in his younger days, man. He was definitely like very, very flashy. But it's cool, man. He was just being him. He was just vibing. He was just doing his thing, dude. He was like straight living, bro. It was very cool to watch. Very cool movie. I highly recommend it. I think that's like definitely now one of my favorites out of this year.
Damn, now I have to see it because I saw a trailer for it and I thought, oh, this is gonna be a documentary on David Bowie. So yeah, I got to go see that. And like I forget what it was, but I think it was a speech of some kind. I think it was like the closest thing we were ever gonna get to like a funeral for David Bowie back in like 2016. But they mentioned somewhere along the line that back in the day he was wearing like big old boots and like tutus, and like people who thought like that was like ridiculous now like do it because they want to be just like David Bowie. Like he was like that kind of guy, the fucking icon, man. Like
yeah, he set a fucking standard for rock and roll, man, for the showmanship and I mean also creatively he was just fantastic and he pursued a lot of different outlets and stuff. It was very cool to watch.
Can we talk about his acting? Like, oh my god, when he went into acting, he fucking killed it. Like, it was amazing.
He brought it, dude. He was a true artist. He was not just a rock star. He was a fucking artist, man. And that's mad respect.
And his fucking humor was out of this world. Oh my god, this man's. Like, it was the fine line between just dark and just like clever. It was insane. Like, there was a great joke.
He had a lot of good comebacks on these interview shows and stuff. He was very funny.
There was this great joke he told his friend. So him and his friend, Gary Oldman, were like chilling one day, hanging out on the sidewalk. And this big guy, this like scary looking like metalhead is like walking up to them. And he's fucking shaking because he's trying to ask for an autograph from David Bowie. And so he finally gets the words out, and like David Bowie's like, "Yeah, mate, I'll help you out." And he just like signs the thing, and then the guy's like so excited he walks away, and he's like, he turns to his friend Gary. He says, "Oh, that kid's gonna be really disappointed when he gets home." It's like, "What do you mean? I signed it, Gary Oldman."
That's fucked up, man.
That's just his fucking style.
But that's also
man.
like. That's even a better collector's item too. At the same time, because it's not just a signature from David Bowie, but it's a signature from David Bowie saying Gary Oldman instead of Bowie, which is awesome.
If anything, that's so fucking meta. It's like way better than any like NFT that'll ever hit the market ever.
Facts, dude.
Yeah.
Facts.
Until they turn that shit into an NFT, fuck.
I mean, yeah, conceptually it's cool. It's a little confusing, but I think NFTs are like conceptually like interesting, but in practice they've been pretty ass, and it's just turned into like people on Twitter making like Bored Ape shit or whatever that company is.
The problem is with NFTs is that like it got to the point where like anyone thought they can just make instant money off of these fucking things,
Mm-hmm. Which they
and
can. I mean, it's
yeah,
been successful.
and it led to a lot of like rug pulls and like scams like that, and I'm like, fuck me, wow.
Just horrendous, man. It's weird. It's just like I don't know. I wasn't like paying much attention to it when it was growing, and now it's dying out because like, well, it's all like it's a weird idea of like ownership that isn't really. I don't think there's any real ownership with the internet, right? Because you could share anything. I mean, that's sort of the challenge of it is like there can be, reposts of like of videos or of people who pirate movies online or whatever, and like
Yeah.
and so trying to do this like non-fungible token thing, but like it's digital, so it's a bunch of bits and stuff, and it's all on the world. It's only accessible through like the computer or like the World Wide Web or whatever, and so like
Yeah.
it's not really your ownership because people can just. I know there's like the joke about like people screenshotting it, but like really, it's like it's not. If everyone can spread it and kind of have it, it's like what's the, like for instance, maybe like a physical object, like what any one of these things in my apartment, I keep it locked in here, and so the person who only has access to it is me with the key.
Exactly.
And so like, but there's no real key with like NFTs.
Yeah, no, it's
I don't know if that tangent makes any sense, but
no, it makes some sense honestly, because like there is no ownership on the internet. Like once you put it out there, it's like out there forever. Like anyone who has the sensible mind to like download it or save it, even if you want to like get rid of it and delete it, like there's gonna be out there. Like there's no fucking way.
Yeah.
So I am glad about one thing though. Immediately as soon as like NFTs got hijacked by like a bunch of these stupid people trying to make like quick money, like it fell apart so fucking fast for them, and it's insane. I love it. It's just I live for this shit. It's so good.
See the Schadenfreude in practice, man, for real.
Exactly, man. I fucking cream hard to that type of shit, man.
Just fucking the hardest of hardens.
Exactly. I jerk off.
You're fucking bricked up for some fucking NFT failure. You know what I'm saying? Like, just fucking.
They lost another 1.2 million today. Oh.
Oh my god.
I live for this.
Rich people losing money is fun to watch. That's what I liked about the GameStop thing from like a couple years. That was 2020, right? Was that during the beginning of the pandemic?
That was around a pretty good peak of the pandemic, yeah.
No,
actually,
that was end of 2020. It was the beginning of 2021 because I remember it was like end of 2020. A bunch of my colleagues tried to get me into stock trading, and I was like, this is too confusing for me. I'm not smart enough for this. I'm gonna dip, and then these like fucking redditors figure out how to crash the market. Like a month later after I joined Robinhood or whatever, and I was like, oh well, that sucks.
Yeah.
So it even further discouraged me from getting into it. But so yeah, that was like crazy, man. That was almost 3 years ago now. Almost 3 years ago now that happened. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
Or no, 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Yeah, like
did the math wrong.
I would not take the chance of like the returns would have been great if I knew it at the time, but like I don't know, gambling in like cryptocurrency to me that's like playing mahjong. I don't know how to play mahjong. Yeah.
Facts, dude.
Yeah. But no, it was a wild time, honestly. Oh, and speaking of rich people losing money, Facebook, holy shit. Oh,
what's going on with that, man?
Zuck is gonna get zucked into like non-existence, man. Like holy shit.
Zuck is gonna get the big suck for all his money, dude.
Exactly, bro. Like he started with the buying out of Instagram way back in the day, and then trying to turn that into TikTok. It's not doing so well, obviously.
No, because that's the problem is like all these social media apps are trying to be each other, and so like if I'm on Instagram, I'll see, because I follow a bunch of TikTokers on there, so it's like I'll see their TikToks on Instagram before I even go to TikTok. So like I'm like, okay, why do I even engage with both of these apps? Why don't I just stay on TikTok? Because I don't even like Instagram anyway. I just post stories on there. Like everyone's just using stories now.
Yeah, it's like Instagram.
It's so much content.
It's because the two different energies, like Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, those are like genuine social media sites. Yes, you can share things. Yes, you can follow things that like are great memes and whatnot. But at its core, it is straightforward social media with keeping up with your friends. TikTok is not one of those things. TikTok is basically YouTube on Adderall, okay? Like,
It is. It really is, dude.
yeah, it's like, it's not going to work if you try
And
that.
so if you take that and put it into a social media app, you're just gonna turn that into fucking Instagram on Adderall, dude.
Exactly. It doesn't work out. And then
And I'm sure Instagram already does blow. So like,
it's starting to blow now for sure because a lot more people are like, fuck this place, man.
no, I was saying that I'm pretty sure that Instagram probably already is like the type to do cocaine on the regular.
I mean, yeah, yeah.
Not for long. I had a job interview today, and then I got an offer letter like the very last part of the day. So like it was like it was very quick. So I was either very impressive to them, which I hope is like the case, or they desperately need people, which might be worrisome. But like we'll see. It's definitely a job that pays more than my current one, so that'll be good. But
I mean, either
what was I
way,
gonna
you're
say?
winning.
Facts, dude. Facts.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm moving on. I need to get a break from my current job. It's just a lot. It's a lot of work for very low pay, but
Yeah.
like unreliable ass people. It's like whatever. It happens a lot,
No,
but I
it's
mean,
like
luckily I won't have to deal with it anymore. So
okay. I'm sorry. This is like the libertarian in me, but it's like if you're gonna do like excessive amounts of work, you might as well get their fucking paycheck too or their salary too. Like it's bullshit. Like if anything.
exactly.
Yeah.
If I put in double the fucking amount of work, I should be getting what they're supposed to be paid because they're not doing their fucking job. But anyway, it's like
If there's
I'll
anything the
deal with it
Joker
for
has ever
another.
taught me is that if you're good at something, never do it for free.
No, absolutely, yeah, and that's why I'm
Yeah.
leaving. And then also, like, my boss came to me today and was like, I was telling him like, hey, my like lead duties are like kind of like stressful. Can like I take that off? And he was like, well, it's kind of like what you signed up for when you got the position. I was like, what about the other leads? Can't they take over? And he was like, no. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go. He's not willing to accommodate. So, that's just disrespectful as fuck, dog. So anyway, but no, it's like I won't have to deal with it for long. I'll put in my notice tomorrow and leave next week. So
I always think to myself, it could be worse, and you could be working for Billy fucking McFarland. That fucking guy.
what did he do?
He was the guy that did the fire festival thing, you know.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but the
Well,
peak
it
moment,
sometimes feels like I'm being managed by a guy like that. But anyway,
but the peak level was like when he was running a company that like was organizing fire festival. Like they didn't have any like money at a certain point
hmm
to like pay their employees. So he literally, this is on recording too. There's an audio recording of this call, but he calls out to all of his other coworkers in like a phone meeting saying, "Yeah, so we're having problems with like the money coming in, so we might not be able to pay you, but we would very much appreciate it if you would be willing to still work for us anyways for no charge." Literally along those lines, he's asking them to like work for essentially free.
I've had managers ask that of me. I had a manager at In and Out. She was once like she, she's so when I was at In and Out, we were working. I was working part time. They had me on like 5.5 hour, 5 hour and 45 minute. Oh, sorry, there was a horn outside.
Mm.
Um, Crazy ass people driving outside of my apartment. But no. So I was working like a 5 hour, 45 minute shift, and like they would do that because if you go into 6 hours, you legally need a lunch break, like a 30 minute. But they wouldn't give me that because they would just give me a 10 on that shift. And so one time we're like closing right, so I'm working from like I think it would be 8:30 to it was 8:15 to what was it? It was like a trying to do the math here because I was working till about after 2, and I didn't want to cut into 6 hours, so that must have been like 8:45 or something, 8:30, 8:50. I'm trying to remember, but no, it might have been 8:15, I think. But so anyway, she screams at me like, "Gil, clock out." I was like, "Okay," because like it was reaching the 6 hour mark, and then she's like, "All right, get back to work." I'm like, "What the fuck? No! Like I'm not on the clock. Like what am I gonna fucking do? Like I'm gonna go sit down and wait for y'all. Like not working for free.
Fuck no, man. That's
But no, I mean,
so.
like, I think here I'm gonna say this as a union steward, as a current one. I'll be stepping down from that. Actually, wait, no, I'll still have the same union at my other job, so I might not be able to step down from that. But but as a union steward, dude, if a manager has ever said you've gone above and beyond, you've probably been exploited.
That is 100% facts. Fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm so glad it like my previous job at Vaughn's like sucked. It really, especially like mid COVID too. That really fucking sucked.
they
But
treated everybody like shit during COVID. They were like, "Oh, you still got to go to work, even though you're afraid of catching a deadly fucking disease." Like, fuck you.
yeah,
They
but
didn't, dude. For 6 months, they didn't give us PPE. We had to go get it ourselves.
what the fuck, bruh?
Yeah, it's horrendous, dude.
And by the time I left Vaughn's, they were like giving out the fucking N95 mask away like fucking candy. Like, here, take it, take it. We have too many
Yeah,
of these fucking things. What the fuck?
it's horrendous, man. I mean, remember that shortage? There was a huge shortage for a lot of healthcare workers. It was really bad.
I kind of love how like a lot of these people nowadays like reference World War II almost all the fucking time. You know the whole like thing where it's like if you're talking about anything, eventually something will get compared to Hitler or Nazis. We're staying
Totally.
in the fucking past, and for some reason they missed the mark on how fast America actually like weaponized themselves during wartime. Like they turned auto manufacturers into weapons factories, like building tanks and guns and shit so smoothly. How the fuck in the 21st century do we not have that? Just,
Well, it's
just,
like John Mulaney said, man. It's like, oh no, you gotta stop the Nazis, Dad.
God,
Gotta go fucking do that, man.
uh, it's
Can't be. We need a common enemy again. We need something to fight. We need something that's really gonna. I don't think there's anything though. We're so divided. Like if there were like a, if they, I think Don't Look Up is a really good reflection of like current state of America.
yeah,
Because like it's like if you like half of us aren't gonna if something like that disastrous happens, right? If there's like a world like a global extinction event that's gonna happen because of some fucking meteor space rock, right? Like fucking a bunch of us are gonna be like, no, let's not handle it. It'll be fine. It'll just fly by us. And the other half's gonna be like, we should be freaking out right now. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, that's exactly what happened during COVID. It's like half of us were like, what? We should be freaking out. We should mask up, be careful, man, sanitize. And the other half were like, don't tell me what to do. Like, fuck you, fucking, and just like protesting and shit, and doing a bunch of dumb shit, and then catching COVID and dying. Like, no death is like great. I don't think one should celebrate particularly anyone's death unless they're like a really bad person, like maybe
yeah.
Margaret Thatcher or Bin Laden, But like,
Mm-hmm.
I think that like with deaths from like people who caught COVID but were like COVID deniers and shit and like mass deniers, that's kind of just like it's the epitome of fuck around and find out. And so I'm just like I'm not really having an issue with them being gone, especially so they don't have to spread that bullshit again.
It's so sad that you're right because I get like just like a little satisfaction from like reading like the
Getting
Herman.
bricked up when COVID deniers die of COVID.
Yeah, literally.
Fuck
Like,
yeah.
at a certain point, I'm just like, oh man, like fucking Japanese hentai is not doing it for me anymore. I gotta go to the Herman Cain, awards subreddit. Okay, get my fucking rocks off there, man.
Get your fucking heart on, man. Get your fucking heart on.
God damn, like if anyone has the opportunity to, please go to the Herman Cain Award subreddit. It is a gold mine for stupid people getting COVID and fucking dying. It is amazing for the wrong reasons.
I love Reddit, dude. There's like some weird threads, man.
I Reddit is such a fucking jungle to me, honestly.
It's you got to find the right subreddits. Like me and the boys found like the subreddit like r/titty drop. So it's like a bunch of gifs, so like videos of like chicks just like pulling up their shirt and their breasts fall. It's fucking cool, man. It's a vibe.
Bruh. I do gotta surf Reddit more, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's like other subreddits like our Lord of the Rings is really funny. People just post a lot of memes there and shit. Um,
Oh, dude, I've had like a I guess like a renewed love for Denis Villeneuve, the director.
Yeah, yeah, the one who did Blade Runner and
He's also done stuff that's kind of, I guess, sort of independent to his signature style, like Prisoners, Enemy, Sicario.
Prisoner did that. Oh yeah, that's right. He did Sicario.
Yeah. So I watched a lot of those movies, and I'm like, damn, this fucking guy is good. Like, he takes a good, screenplay and knows exactly what to do with it. Like, it's amazing.
Hmm. Yeah,
Like, wow.
and he's really good at just making like fantastic shots. He's really got good camera work. It's very interesting, man. He's very every frame is like a picture painting. You know what I mean? Like it's phenomenal, dude. And like you can tell he like really likes like cinema because like he was talking about Jared Leto being in Blade Runner 2049, and he was saying he was comparing him to fucking Jesus or something.
Bro.
Uh, it's very high praise for a man. Well, I mean, I guess Jared Leto has followers just like Jesus. He's got his weird cult thing going on.
And it's kind of funny how you mentioned that, because, like, that probably would be around the start of when he started his fucking cult, like, getting compared to Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah, because then that cult shit came out later, and I don't know when that actually started, so I figured,
maybe that was like his influence. Maybe he's like, well, fuck, Denis Villeneuve, one of the fine directors of our generation, compared me to Jesus, one of the greatest men who ever lived.
dude,
I must find followers just like Jesus.
the man gets compared to Jesus, probably mulls that over for like 6, 8 months, then starts his own fucking cult. And that's why he's like been in
Yeah.
such shit movies at that point, because he's not putting 110% effort into movies anymore. He's just like, it's all about my followers, man. Like, come on.
It's all about my followers. Okay. Wait, how does he talk? How does he sound? He's got like a. It's all about my followers. Okay.
Yeah, he sounds like a stoned, Heath Ledger Joker. That's what he sounds like.
Yeah, he does sound like if Heath Ledger Joker smoked a bowl, man.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? He's. I mean, he can be a good actor though. It's
Hmm.
that's the hard thing. And
Yeah,
he's like a pretty good musician. He was like, wasn't he the lead man for 30 Seconds to Mars?
exactly, yeah. Which they were not bad. I mean, I think they were like the Nickelback of like alternative metal, but that's just me.
Yeah, yeah, I kind of agree. They're kind of mid.
But no, acting abilities. Oh my god, Dallas Buyers Club and Requiem for a Dream, bro. Like,
Yeah,
oh my god,
phenomenal,
man.
phenomenal actor, man. He can do it. He just chooses. I don't know what he's doing these days. I mean, again, maybe he's just very distracted with his cult.
Yeah,
Unpopular opinion. The difference between a cult and a religion is how many people are following it.
yeah, 100%. Honestly. Oh my god. Why don't we alleviate that by talking about Joel Osteen as an example? Holy shit.
Joel Osteen, dude, the fucking he's the oh he was the fucking guy who wouldn't like what was it let people in during like a
During a hurricane. Yeah.
during a storm. Yeah, yeah, like a bad. That's horrible. And then he was still preaching about like getting people to give him money and shit. That's just like that's horrendous. Like that's just bad optics. First off, too, and that's just bad ethics. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not good. A man of the Lord,
A man of
turn
the
people
Lord.
away in the storm. That is no man of the Lord.
No,
Pray for forgiveness. No, no.
I
That's not how
say
it sounds. But I mean, that would be kind of that might excuse it a little bit. I might have a little fun with that because like it's like, come on. I mean, that kind of preaching is the best kind of preaching. The animalistic kind of just crazy, soulful. You know, it's like it's really good preaching. You know, I want to preach it like James Brown in Blues Brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
dude,
the life, dude.
if James Brown was a fucking preacher and I just walked into that church, if he told me anything for like 20 minutes straight, I would follow him to hell and back.
You absolutely would, dude. Spitting facts, dude.
Oh my god, man.
Fucking
Just sweating all over me, man. Shit.
sweating and hopping, dude, and hollering, yeah. You know, like fucking just. Oh man, James Brown, dude. What a legend, dude. He had some like crazy performances. Oh, and speaking of crazy performances, I never really put it in perspective of why Elvis was so big but then like the movie really showed it for me. You know what I mean? It really highlighted like how he excited young people. It's interesting to observe the film, because like you know what the culture at that time thought was like outrageous. A lot of it was based in race, which was as always, but a lot of the opinions they held is just like I would think like why the fuck would they ask that? It's like he's a fucking rock star. He's like just on stage performing. You know, he's like of course he's gonna wiggle his hips and shit. People do that to go crazy and like just you have some showmanship. You know, it's just interesting to me.
Well,
And so it's like I wonder with those same people if you drag someone. I mean, I can only imagine what like people who are like 90 today must think because like you drag them out of like the fucking 40s and you place them here and they're like, holy shit, there's a lot going on, man.
that
There'll probably be a small crowd of people who are like closeted like punks or LGBT or whatever who come out and be like, oh, this is rad, dude, hell yeah. Um, but others who would be most of the crowd who would be kind of weird, which is why I think it'd be good for older generations to die off. You know, it's like it's old ideas that carry. They shouldn't be having those. You know what I mean? It's like, but
it's
I think
like
also like, but that's also maybe that's generalizing because I think the mark of a good person is like someone who's able to grow, right? So I think that's why. So if you're not able to grow with the times and stuff and like change your thinking, it's like, well, then fuck you. You know, you shouldn't. I don't. You know, it's like I don't give a shit. You
okay.
know.
Look, to give you a reason to why what you're saying is right. Jim Jeffries, the Australian comedian, had a bit on one of his specials where he was talking about how his dad has recently accepted the idea of like gays and everything. Because keep in mind, his father is 78 years old and grew up in the backwoods of Australia. So that is like the American equivalent of like growing up in the Ozarks in like the 60s. Like, yeah. So
Let's just
so of course he would have like backwards views on things, but he's come around to the ideas of gays having rights and the right to marry and everything, which is a good fucking job
that's
for him.
okay. Baby steps. You know what I'm saying? Like that's good.
Baby steps. But then he also ends the bit with how like his dad doesn't believe in the whole like transgender thing too.
Oh, good lord! I
And
can only imagine how that goes. I mean,
it's half in the pocket. Like yes, some older ideas should be died off, with certain people, but at the same time, we should really acknowledge like good growth with certain.
We should celebrate that, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's hard to change somebody and their beliefs. Like I mean, like if you're raised in a culture where it's like even the mention of being gay is like that can land you like in jail or beaten or killed or whatever. It's like of course you're not gonna fucking mention that or like be open to it. But then it's like when you see other people doing it, it's like, oh wait a minute, maybe they're onto something.
Yeah.
Like that's the mark of a good person. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly, man. Exactly. Like it's wild. It's like we got to be like so like angry at everything for like different reasons. It's so weird to me. I don't know why.
it's just gross older generations being
Yeah.
the usual racist, misogynistic, homophobic, whatever it may be, man. The usual whatever phobia,
Yeah. Why can't we just live like we're in Top Gun Maverick, man? Like just being like pro America, pro being shirtless with your bros, playing football, fighting the enemy. Not a named, country or nation or anything, just the enemy.
Well, I think in Top Gun Maverick, didn't they mention it was Korea or some shit?
No, they never actually mentioned it once. Like, we're just led to believe as soon as they get to the cold weather, I'm like, is this Russia? Like, where are we at right now? Like...
Damn. Okay. Yeah. Keep it ambiguous.
Yeah. Even the aircrafts that are like pursuing them, there's no marks or anything on them, so you have no idea what country it is they're fighting. They're just like it's the enemy. That's it.
I'm really interested in how it was such a good movie. It didn't have to be as good as it did.
I think it's because they knew exactly what made the first one great, and they really wanted to expand on that in interesting ways. And the one thing I applaud them the most for doing that made it so goddamn good was they made references to the previous film. Yes, references that you could slide off as like, oh, it's cheesy because they're harking back to the old film, but it did it for the sake of the story. Like when he's flying the aircraft in the first movie back in '86, past the tower and shakes it because the vibrations from the plane.
Because he's like breaking the sound barrier, yeah.
In the second movie, he does the exact same thing, but it's for the sake of actually saving his people's jobs. Like, it actually has weight to the reference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like that's shit like that, where I'm just like, wow, that's amazing.
That's a fair analysis, yeah. And you gotta add some emotional weight to it, which is, man. Yeah, it was just such a... And the camera work was crazy when they're, like, flying and stuff. That was nuts.
Dude, they really, like, saw the technology we had nowadays and thought, what if we just, like, pushed it to the absolute limit with practical effects? Like...
Yeah, for real, dude. It was crazy, man.
Very little CGI. I think only, like, mostly near the end, actually. Yeah, that was it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I can tell it was all practical. That's just, like, nuts, man. I can't believe they did that, but that's very cool.
Yeah. Also, obviously, the storyline where he's, like, instead of the student, getting taught this stuff and him being, like, a loose cannon, it's him being a loose cannon teacher teaching these new recruits to be, like, the future. It's just... It was perfect in every way. I don't know how.
Turns it on its head. It's interesting, man. It's interesting. Changes it up.
There's 2 new shows I'm trying to get back on. It's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6, because they just dropped some new episodes. And then this Cyberpunk series they put on Netflix, Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
I've seen the promos for it, but I haven't seen any of it.
It looks pretty good so far. I'm like 2 episodes in. It's interesting, to say the least. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it really knew the world of Cyberpunk and thought, yeah, we'll just turn this into an anime. So yeah,
that usually works. I mean, they did a Blade Runner anime, I think, right?
They did, and that, you know what? You're right. That fucking slapped. Like, it didn't have to slap that hard, but it did.
Animes are very cool, man. I haven't watched any animes in recent, but the show I started was The Bear, which is pretty good. So it's about like a line cook and stuff. He takes over like his brother's restaurant. But he was like supposed to be some masterful chef or something, like or he is or whatever, not just like a line cook. But it's very cool. It's very funny. It's very heartfelt. I mean, like it's emotionally driven. Not like there's a lot of tender moments. Excuse me. That's embarrassing. I swallowed wrong. I only washed it down with beer.
There you go.
Something got caught there. Anyway, so I was watching The Bear. And it's cool, man. It's a good show. It's a good show so far. It's funny. I think I talked about it on this podcast. Nathan for You and The Rehearsal a little bit. Those shows are great too.
God,
The Rehearsal really like it takes a lot of the same concepts as Nathan for You, and it just really like expands on them, and does very deep work too. It's very like psychological and philosophical. It's like it's a very deep exploration of like people and stuff.
But yeah, no, I get that. Like, God, I really gotta get on like Nathan for You. I started like Curb Your Enthusiasm like months ago, and like it was mostly me and our dad watching it, and I think we got only like 5 episodes in before we switched over to Sopranos. I think. Yeah.
It's not for everyone, man. It's not for everyone. But Nathan for You is funny. I fucking love that show.
It's like
he's like wildly like doing these outrageous ideas and like these interesting concepts, and they really work. He really does them. There's like one of my favorites is when he like takes over a guy's life kind of by like using like Hollywood effects and stuff to put on a mask of his face, and he like gets him a girlfriend.
Oh my god.
And pretends to like tightrope walk across a building as him. So he learned how to tightrope walk while disguised as him. For like charity, so like the guy would be out to be the hero.
Oh my!
Which was very
That's so fucking good though.
It's really well written and really well thought out and put together. And there's another good episode by season 4. He does an episode where he's like trying to think of a story to tell on Jimmy Kimmel Live because he's going to be on there to promote Nathan for You. And so what he does is he studies famous celebrity interviews, right? So like he's like, okay, what are like the key plot points that make a story funny, right? Because you got to tell a
Yeah.
funny story on these talk shows. So he identifies like there's a component of like it involves a wedding at a town and like a cop pulling you over and then finding something suspicious and blah blah blah. And so like he develops this whole scheme to like he borrows like an oversized suit by mixing up at like luggage at an airport or whatever. It's a very convoluted story, and he sets this all up so it all really happens, and then he can tell the story honestly on Jimmy Kimmel, which is hilarious. But it's a really well. It's so. I fucking love Nathan for You, man. It's so good.
Dude, the thing that made
He's such
me
a genius.
the thing that made me realize he's a fucking genius is like he was on Conan O'Brien. And this is around like the start of like when his show was like gaining some serious traction, so people were starting to talk about him. People knew who he was.
Yeah.
And so he comes onto the show and he says, "Oh yeah, so Conan, I brought up also like a backup guest." It's like a backup guest. It's like, yeah, in case if the interview doesn't go well, if it gets a little slow, I got a backup guest. It's a pretty good idea. And he's like, no one's ever done this before. What do you mean, man? He's like, just let me bring out my backup guest. It's like, okay, sure. And it's Susan fucking Sarandon.
Oh my god, that's awesome. Well, that's king shit, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking king, dude.
She's just fucking sitting on the couch right next to him and just like, he's telling a story about his fucking cat. And then like Conan is losing his shit. It's like, you got a famous actress sitting right next to you, man, as a backup. Like, what do you mean? Like, he is a fucking king. Like, goddamn.
He's really funny. He's really good at playing just this very awkward guy. I swear he plays it. He's very like he really reminds me a lot of like Sacha Baron Cohen, where it's like he's just very good at clowning on people. He'll get them to do like to admit outrageous shit, and he'll be like kind of the butt of the joke for a while because he's building up like a bit or whatever. But he's like really trying to get like on the rehearsal he like admitted he had got some lady to admit that she's like anti-Semitic or whatever. It was fucking hilarious.
Oh my god.
Just the shit that people say, man, it's just like, oh my god, dude. But yeah, no, he's a very good. And the series finale of the Nathan For You is interesting. It's like an hour and a half long.
Oh my
and
god.
It's of him helping one of his friends from the show find like a long lost lover or whatever, which is actually like a really it was the beginning concept, I think, for the rehearsal, because it was like, so the rehearsal is built around, Nathan For You is Nathan Fielder is getting all these like fucking these actors and stuff to help role play events in people's lives that they want to rehearse, right? So like the first episode is about this guy admitting to his friend that he's been lying to them about his education status or whatever for several years, and like the rest of the show follows like this one person who like wants to be a mom, but so he then helps her role play being a mom by getting like child actors and stuff and all this complex shit, like a fake house and stuff, to live out like her fantasy of what it would be like to be a mom. And so it's like to see if she'd really be able to do that or something. And it's like really interesting. And it has a lot to say about people. But so anyway, that's kind of what the last episode does of Nathan For You, is like towards the end he helps his friend rehearse what he's going to say to reuniting with his like long lost love. You know what I mean?
That oh my! I never heard of someone with this good fucking writing. Like just in general, like he knew exactly what he wanted to do and he did it. Like it was that's amazing. Wow.
He just does this chaotic shit, and he's so good at. I think he really understands people, and it's really interesting to see him do shit. And then it's funny because the rehearsal sometimes I think like it really just like it goes really meta, and I think it's a lot of like he puts a lot of himself into it, and so it's a lot of him also coping with like his anxieties and fears and neuroses and stuff. It's very cool.
That was definitely my first fucking take on the guy. As soon as I heard of him, he looks like an anxiety-ridden bean. Like,
yeah, for real. Yeah, he's very socially awkward. You can almost like think he has Asperger's or something. It's like really, but I think he's playing a character. He's very good at that. I'm sure in real life he's like a little cooler. I'd hope.
I certainly like to think he's like pretty chill for sure. Yeah.
I think you could like hang, dude. I think you could hang. You could seem like a cool guy to hang out with.
I feel like this is like going to be the start of a meme, like the dream blunt rotation. Like,
You have him, Michael Cera. We need two other awkward white boys in Hollywood.
two awkward white boys in Hollywood. Shit. You know what? I'm gonna come up with a list later. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get the dream blunt rotation by the next episode.
Exactly. I'll tweet about it for sure. Yeah.
Oh man, dude, it was so funny because I was hanging out with Rebel this week, and he's one of the like he's just such a funny guy, dude, and he's really like genuine too, and he's awesome. But so we were hanging out, dude, and like it was at dinner. We were talking about like joking and stuff, and like he was like every so often he'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna tweet that. That's hilarious." Like, and he's so fucking. He just be tweeting in the middle of dinner, thinking of stuff. Like as soon as it comes to his brain, he's like, I gotta let the world know, dude. And that's like the raw energy you need for Twitter to be good at Twitter. You know what I mean? Like just like no second thought, just like be like, all right, I'm gonna post this. Fuck it, dude.
See, that's what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be like, first thing I think of, tweet it if it's good enough. So like the shit that me and you text each other, I'm like, oh man, that's a good fucking tweet. I got to do that. But I've slowly realized that it's like turning into like the most batshit insane like takes I'm doing just randomly. Like I'll be talking about Pop Tarts one day, and then I'd be like, "Oh, the two genders, monster lover and monster fucker." Like like just some weird shit I just be putting out there, man.
Yeah, that's just like. I mean, you do you, man. You know. I mean, it's like you gotta. I remember like we were literally texting one day and you were like, "Oh, I'm gonna tweet that." Like it was so out of context. It was so interesting. But that's kind of how it has to be sometimes. I saw this one tweet that cracked me up because I was like, it was me and the band. We were hanging out at a bar, and I said the tweet. It goes to the tone of All Star. Somebody come get her. She's dancing like a stripper.
That's fucking gold, though, bro.
It's fucking good, man. Isn't that good?
That's so fucking. Oh,
I get into this hole on TikTok where like people like mash songs together, and there's like this one that's like, "Here I ruined it" or something. Like it's like a mix of like two songs, and I can't remember the one that made me fucking like crack up. But I'm gonna have to find it because I saved it. It was so fucking funny. It was Pinball Wizard as like a country song, and I was like, okay,
I'll buy it.
kind of works, man. kind of slaps, dude.
No country. Shout out to Orville Peck for changing the fucking game on country music, bro. Seriously.
I need to get on this shit. So like you were recommending some albums today. I'm gonna look them up on Spotify right now before I forget. What's some?
Definitely Bronco for sure. Peck. Like you would definitely fuck around with Bronco for sure.
He's like his albums are Bronco, Pony, Show Pony. Like that's cool. Oh, Bronco is his newest album. Okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly. Like his previous one was Pony, which came back in like 2019, and then Bronco was his newest one, and that was actually between like the COVID pandemic and whatnot. So he had a lot of time sitting around at home, essentially being by himself. So like he poured his heart and fucking soul out in his lyrics. Like it is insane. Mm-hmm. Like you can feel this this gay cowboy's pain. Like,
oh, he's gay.
Why else would he dress like that, man? Like, he is the Elton John of country.
That's fucking cool. That is a sick title, and I gotta listen to it now.
Yeah.
The Elton John of country.
Yeah.
It's a good title to have, dude. Respect. Excuse me.
No, you're good. Speaking of his music influences, he definitely has a lot of Elvis in his sound.
Really? Okay, yeah. Because, I mean, Elvis was, like, based within that southern kind of, like, blues, kind of, like, a little bit of country twang to it. Yeah, he was a country boy, so he had that accent,
Exactly. He managed to blend, like, bluegrass and, like, blues music very well, actually. Like, the kind of, like, upbeat energy.
Bluegrass. That was the one I was thinking of. Yeah, bluegrass.
Yeah. It had that upbeat energy of bluegrass, but, like, that soul, that genuinely, like, heart of like blues, Yeah.
Because blues is all about just like it's pretty much early soul is what blues is, and And it's interesting how you see the progression, but yeah, it's just straight from the heart, man. It's all about like just life and stuff, or like usually about like a woman leaving you or stuff, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, no, like just blues hits hard, man. Seriously, there's a reason why that shit like started a whole bunch of other genres of music. Like uh,
Yeah,
it's beauty.
that speaking of documentaries on musicians, that Robert Lee Johnson documentary on Netflix is like really good. The Devil at the Crossroads one.
I saw that
It's
one.
it's very informative. It really provides some perspective, some interest. And I mean, like, that's like the most rock star shit ever. Having like a legend tied to you, like you like made a deal with the devil at the crossroads to get like good at guitar. That's fucking sweet, man.
Yeah, especially like having someone like Keith Richards say like, "Oh, when I heard that guy play for the first time, I could have sworn it was like two guitars playing. Like he was
But
that
no,
good."
he's just playing the one, dude.
Yeah,
And he doesn't even have the octave effect. Like he doesn't have an amp or anything to create the octave effect or whatever, man. It's crazy, dude.
it's all just finger work. Like, oh my god, if he got with a woman, that is.
She's gonna be just like spew. She's gonna be a fucking fire hydrant, dude. That's cracked open. She's gonna be fucking spewing for days, bro.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna be like Niagara Falls by the end of the night, bro.
Fuck yeah, dude. It's gonna be
Oh,
crazy. Like with after the first drinks, you know what I'm saying? Like
oh, bruh.
a long time. So learning to fucking play guitar, it takes a minute, man. But it'll be cool. It'll be worth it. It'll be well worth it. The stand works really well that you got me, so thank you for that.
Happy
Yeah,
birthday, bro. Happy birthday.
it was a little challenging to assemble. Thank you. It was yeah, it works out great. It's a great little addition to the apartment. It really feels. I had Jackson over the other night, and he was saying like it feels like the apartment of like a 25-year-old. You know, it's like I got the posters and stuff. I got the guitar in the corner. I got the records. Just yeah, very much an apartment of a guy in his mid 20s.
Oh my god. Is that a jeans shirt too you're wearing? Dude.
Um, I guess technically, yeah, it is a jean shirt, isn't it?
Oh my god, you really are like, living the hipster life, man. It's fucking amazing.
Here's it's Here's the thing about it is like I didn't really think much of it when I put it on this morning because I was like, well, I have a job interview. I might as well like put on a nice button down collared shirt, you know. And then like
Yeah.
it was funny because when I had the interview, an hour later, the lady from HR. This is how fast it happens. Like, an hour later, the lady from HR calls me, and she's like, "Yeah, they were like really impressed with you, and we want to move forward, but they were like a little concerned about your like how you dress. They said you were like weekend casual, and I'm like, I'm not. And at my current job, it's very lax with the dress code. I could throw on like a t-shirt and jeans and just walk in the office. But I was like, why? I thought this was dressed up. You know what I mean? I thought
Let-
this was like the most effort I was going to put into it today. I wasn't going to put on a fucking tie or like some chinos or whatever. Like I don't know. It's and maybe it's the shoes I wore too. I wore some fucking Vans that might not have helped, but
No, probably not.
yeah. It's like I don't know. I thought I dressed fine. I was a little shocked. So I was talking to my friend who works there, and he was saying I need to be a little more business casual, which I guess is like more polo and more dress shoes. I mean, I could wear jeans, but they have to be like dark jeans or whatever. It's I don't know. It's confusing. It's interesting, man, but I'll figure it out. I mean, that's I can forego a lax dress code for like a better job, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you know what you got to do. You got to get yourself like a navy blue like blazer and like pants to match. Okay, get some nice black.
Like some black pants, maybe. Yeah.
Well, no, navy blue pants as well, like kind of like
Okay.
like dress pants.
Sure,
Black
sure.
shoes, a white shirt, and then like a black tie. So because of your haircut and everything, you will look professional, but also look like you belong in a mid 60s rock group.
Factually, you're spitting facts. You're
Yeah.
spitting facts. It's about the top of the hour when you say we clock out, brother.
Oh yeah, it's about that time, baby.
So the 9 to 5 boys are clocking out. We'll catch you guys next week, I guess.
Indeed, indeed. Same time. New episodes hopefully on Tuesday evenings, particularly.
So you'll like if you go to sleep early or whatever time you go to sleep, whatever time of the world it is, wherever you're at, you'll probably find it Wednesday morning. So Wednesday morning we got new episodes of the pod.
Just go on
About
a
the 9 to 5.
bender Monday night and then wake up by the time the next episode is out.
Exactly, dude, exactly. Wake up at like 6 in the evening. You know what I mean? Like
Still hungover, you're reaching for the fucking Alka Seltzer, and you're like, oh shit, another episode.
It's the 9 to 5 boys. Oh boy.
We are clocking out, baby.
Drink responsibly.